You awake, buddy? No. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we wanted to talk a little bit about how we've been socializing Kibo over his first couple of days here and some tips for socializing puppies during the pandemic. A lot of people have been asking me, how are you socializing him before he has all of his shots? What are you doing for puppy training specifically? So we just wanted to talk a little bit about what we've been doing. I am not a professional dog trainer. These are sort of just tips and tricks that I've acquired throughout the years with Kokoro and Chibi, and we'll be putting them into practice with Kibo. If you have any specific questions, I definitely recommend asking a dog trainer or reaching out to a professional if you need help. But in the meantime, we will share with y'all what we've been doing with little Kibo here. First off, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what socialization is. I think there is a little bit of a misconception within new dog owners, new puppy owners, and people think that socialization means your dog is going to go play with another dog and have a play date or another puppy. Really, how socialization should be looked at is basically getting your dog acclimated to new situations, new sights, new sounds, basically experience the world and have them do it in a positive way. So what you're trying to do when you have a brand new puppy who hasn't experienced a lot of things in life is socialize them with loud sounds, places with a lot of people, different interactions and situations that they're going to be put in, and teach them, hey, it's okay, life is like this and you don't need to be scared or react or have a negative interaction with anything. Of course, it can be harder or easier depending on your dog's temperament and his personality, and so that's part of the reason why it's really important to get your puppy from a reputable breeder who is testing for temperament and producing confident dogs that are not going to have tendencies for bad reactions. And a lot of that can be genetic. It can be passed down from the parents. And so one of our tips is to make sure when you're getting a puppy, look for a breeder that is breeding for sound temperament. Make sure you can meet the parents of the puppy that you are going to be taking home, because that will give you a lot of indication as to what your puppy's personality will be like. Kibo is only 9 weeks old right now, and we have been socializing him as much as we can without pushing him over his limit. So the first thing to know is dog body language and how to read whether your puppy is being overwhelmed or not. When you put him into a new stressful situation, you can look for signs like licking of the lips, panting excessively, yawning, backing away or running away from a situation. These are just some examples of ways that dogs indicate that they're stressed out and they're potentially not having a good time. So it's really important to know how your dog is communicating when you're socializing them and putting them in new situations. Depending on your dog's temperament and breed, they could be a little bit harder or easier to socialize. For example, Kokoro is a very outgoing, happy, confident dog, and ever since we had her as a puppy, she never had any instances where she appeared fearful. She saw every single person and dog and wanted to run up and say hi and get pets. And so she was really easy to socialize because nothing really fazed her. Chibi was a little bit more of a submissive dog. She could get overwhelmed in situations when there was too much happening or too many dogs coming at her. And so another thing that's really important to remember as a new puppy owner is to be your dog's advocate. So if you see that your dog is potentially not having a good time, or you see something that is happening that could come and disrupt your dog's good experience, it's important to step in and tell the person that's coming to say hi to your dog or block the dog that's running up to your dog, and really just be that advocate for your puppy and make sure that whatever situation they're in, they're having a really good and happy time. With these things in mind, understanding what socialization is and how to tell if your dog is having a good time or not, you can start to think about how to approach socialization with your puppy. For us, we like to look at basically any opportunity as a training opportunity. I think another misconception with puppyhood is that people think training your dog means teaching them to sit, teaching them to shake when you're at home. A really good thing to do is to always have a treat pouch on you or some sort of way to reward your dog. So if your dog is motivated by treats, bring some little snacks in a little pocket of yours, and make sure that you always have something that you can use to reinforce positive and good behavior. If your dog is really into toys, so Kibo here loves toys, he loves to tug. We like to bring a toy along with us too, so we can use that as a reinforcer. Different things have different values to dogs, so we also kind of go with this tiered treat system. So obviously a piece of kibble is not going to be as rewarding to a dog as a tiny piece of hot dog. So try and figure out what motivates your dog, what they like, and sort of create a tiered system from lowest value to highest value, so you can structure socialization in that way. If something is a little bit more scary and a little bit more stressful, potentially you'll take out the higher value reward for your dog, because maybe a piece of kibble is not going to cut it in that situation. But always having a reward on you is really important for the first few months of puppyhood. Another thing that has been really helpful for him is having Kokoro and GB around. So dogs learn from each other. This is something that we saw a lot when we fostered Mellow and Polly in the past, but having another confident dog to show the puppy or new dog that situations are not scary and they're not reacting is a really helpful way to have a puppy grow up. In potentially really stressful situations, we'll bring Kokoro or Chibi or both of them and have him see that, you know, they're fine, nothing bad is happening to them. For example, for his first vet visit, we weren't allowed to go in with him, which has been the case for all of Los Angeles basically throughout the pandemic. Some of the vets are coming to the car and taking the dogs and not even allowing owners inside. And this can be really scary for a new puppy who's never been to the vet before. And one of the things that we did with Kokoro when we had her was give her just tons and tons of treats at all of her vet experiences as a puppy. So she loves the vet now. So what we ended up doing with Kibo was we made an appointment for both Kokoro and Kibo, and we went in, told the people at the vet that, you know, he's a little bit timid and we wanted to make sure that he has a really great positive first vet experience. Asked them to give him lots of treats even though we weren't there, and they allowed Kokoro to go in for his appointment with him. So essentially he saw that she was super happy. She got lots and lots of pets and love from the vet techs. And I don't know if it helped him at all, because we don't know what he would have been like without Kokoro, but it was sort of like a safety net for us, or a way for us to make sure that he has as good of an experience as possible. In addition to having a treat pouch at all times, the way that we've been socializing Kibo before he has all his shots is bringing a little mat or a place for him to work on, and that is kind of the location that he's going to stay in wherever we go. So if we go to a dog park, we're not going inside the dog park, but we're just going to be in the vicinity of the dog park where he can see people, hear dogs playing, barking, running, and he's going to sit on the mat or the dog bed and pay attention to me. So when we get to these new situations, we have him sit, we have him do basic obedience, lay down, very simple things that he already knows, and treat him for paying attention to me, the handler or owner, in these stressful situations or high stimulation situations. A lot of new dog owners tend to think, oh, I shouldn't bring my puppy out because they don't have all their shots, and the vet says do not bring them to places with strange dogs or just potentially unknown places where they could pick up diseases, which is completely understandable, and it can be really scary if your dog does get something like parvo, knock on wood. So that's why we use the dog mat. We make sure to disinfect it, wipe it down after every use, and keeping it really clean as the one place that Kibo can sit on or stand on or whatever it may be. It's a good way to keep him safe, but also a good tool for getting him socialized when he doesn't have all of his shots. You can go to a nearby park where there are a lot of kids running around, screaming. We have outdoor malls here in LA with a lot of people walking by. So just taking them to all these new situations and keeping your puppy on a mat and doing obedience is a really good way to get them used to the world and all the sounds and noises and things that they're going to experience as an adult dog. When it comes to other dogs, You can have structured play dates with dogs that you know. They need to be fully vaccinated, and it's ideal if you know how that dog already interacts with other dogs or puppies. Because it's really important to make sure that your puppy is only having good experiences, that's why we only have play dates with dogs that we know, ones that we know are not going to be reactive or react poorly to him. Basically, dogs that are going to ensure that he has a good experience meeting other dogs. These are the first dogs that your puppy is meeting out in the world. So if he meets, the first 50 dogs of his lifetime and they're all really nice to him and really respectful, then he's gonna grow up thinking that that's how all dogs are. If he has a couple of really bad encounters, then he might grow up having a little bit of a fear of new dogs. Having structured play dates with respectful older dogs that you already know how they behave is really important for puppy socialization. You can also take them to a puppy class. We are taking Kibo to a puppy class where he's going to have the opportunity to have play dates with other puppies of his age, but make sure that the puppy socialization class isn't just puppies playing freely. There has to be some structure and some training involved in those classes as well. So yeah, that's basically it. Just a high-level overview of what we've been doing with Kibo to socialize him. He is a shepherd, so shepherds can go through fear periods and have a little bit more of a tough time getting acclimated to new things. It's a little bit different from Kokoro and Chibi, where they just had no problem with new experiences and we sort of just flung them out into the world before we knew a little bit more about what proper and structured socialization looks like. We're trying to be very careful about how we socialize him, especially because the pandemic just adds another layer of challenges onto raising a puppy. So hopefully these tips have been helpful for those of you who recently got a dog or are about to get a pandemic puppy. The good news is it looks like there is hope. We're crossing our fingers that Kibo will be able to live a little bit more of a normal life as he grows up. But until then, we will be doing these types of socializations with him where we're taking him to new places, keeping him on his own place or mat, and treating him for just being a good boy and observing the world and not reacting. That's pretty much all we got today on the topic of puppy socialization. Thank you all so much for welcoming Kibo and being so interested in his first few weeks of life with us. If you have any more questions about puppyhood, about his breed, just about anything in general, feel free to leave them below. We'll do our best to answer all of your questions. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.